Welcome back, Indie Game Fanatics, to our continuing Let's Play of The Rootrees Are Dead. It's been pretty entertaining so far, learning about this game. Oh, we got Elias and Gwyneth's photos. We've also got a picture of Carl Roottree. Now, what was I searching last? Plants Trust. Wanted to know what this is. The Clant's pronounced Clancid. So the Clancid Trust is a highly unusual corporate arrangement named after Clancy Edward Roottree, who was Elias's son and the Roottree Candy Company's head lawyer at the time. Okay, so Clancy Roottree, Elias's son, and head lawyer at the time. So the problem is I don't know which of the 5 are him, of the kids. There are 5 of them. But we now know that his son, one of his sons, Clancy, was a lawyer as well. So I'm going to go ahead and save that information. Now, there is some stuff we can get rid of. We can get rid of the stuff about the kids. We've already fully identified them. Alright, due to its unique nature, it's often brought up in online discussions about financial matters and inheritance as an oddity. The company mandates that a fixed percentage of its profits are split every quarter amongst bank accounts representing each direct relative of Elias and Gwyneth. An account is created for each blood relative at birth and first accessible when they reach 18. The actual numbers have never been fully disclosed to the public, but due to the ever-increasing success of the company, is a significant amount of money. The Clancid Trust is known for being essentially impossible to get around due to many checks and balances written into it. Still, there have been a few situations in which family members have tried to forcibly remove another member from the trust. Most details online are pretty vague since the matters are handled internally. The only information you discover is from a university law school, which apparently had a guest lecturer talk about the Roottrees vs. RR in 1994. While looking into the Clancid Trust, you often find mentions of the 5-piece guarantee, which went into effect at the same time. So we want to highlight that, and we want to look into the Roottrees vs. RR in 1994. Alright, let's try searching it this way. Alright, so you find very few details about this particular incident in regards to the Clancid Trust. A student that attended the lecture about it wrote the following on a legal oddities website. From what you can tell, RR attempted unsuccessfully to remove a fellow family member from the trust. It is said that RR attempted two arguments. First, the person in question was born out of wedlock, and second, they committed a significant crime against a fellow family member. Still, due to the ironclad wording of the Clancid Trust, it was impossible to remove any direct descendant of the Elias Roottree without completely dissolving the trust. There's no additional information online. Ooh. So, do we have any where they had a kid out of wedlock? Maybe here? Split up. That doesn't signify that. Kids out of wedlock? Maybe that's what this is about? Interesting. Alright. So, we can get a picture of Gwyneth. And we got a picture of Carl. Alright, so... we got a picture of Carl. Interesting that it doesn't verify from here, so I'm going to go back to unknown occupation. We don't know what his occupation was. Now we have an actual picture of him. Housewife? Would that have been what she was, or a farmer? Because her family was the maple farmers, right? Don't know for sure. And how do you lock things in? So this is interesting information. We'll hold on to that info. So let's look into the 5-piece guarantee. The 5-piece guarantee is in combination with the Clan-said Trust was Elias Roottree's attempt to ensure that the Roottree Candy Company would remain a family business for eternity. In isolation, it is somewhat baffling. The yearly salary of Roottree's president is always locked to the price of a single pack of 5-piece. When the 5-piece guarantee went into effect, it was 25 cents a year. Now it's closer to $4. Huh. Combined with the Clan-said Trust, however, it makes a bit more sense. Elias wanted to ensure that only his direct relatives could afford to be president, and he knew that because of their passive income was tied to the profits of the company, they would have a vested interest in keeping the company as profitable and successful as possible. Whether or not this was a smart or successful decision is widely debated both online and in person by economics enthusiasts at all levels of expertise. That is a very interesting decision to do. But he definitely had to have been like the first president of the company, right? Carl and his second cousin, Ernie Jr., who had just become president of Roottree at the time, spearheaded Root. Okay, interesting. Watch the magazine for. Carl was chosen not for his work at Roottree before he married Jim Roottree. As new clothes were hit with other parents, including Carl's cousin Jim Roottree, a notable singer who had a young daughter around the same age as Rihanna. Alright, so we got some information about Jim Roottree and Ernie Jr. Other blood relatives who have a say in the company's finances refused to fund anything other than candy, so Carl personally spent his entire inheritance to bankroll the clothing company. When the profits began to appear, however, the rest of the family changed their tune. They repaid his investment, and now Root Dot exists under the umbrella of the candy company, and they all benefit. I don't know. I think like I would have been a little bit more petty about that, maybe, when the family didn't support him, to then turn around and give them all the money. But if that led to him becoming the president of Roottree, then it makes sense. For tradition, or perhaps superstition, new clothes always debuted the way the first ones did. Rihanna became their catalog's cover model, and as she grew, the product line expanded to older kids as well. Her younger sisters were then recruited to show off the baby clothes. Okay, interesting. So let's look into more notable people here. Who's Gwen Roottree? You find some information on a website about old films that are not yet available on VHS. The site is not very well organized and the search is broken, but you can get to individual pages from your search engine. Gwen Roottree is a somewhat well-known actress who was active in the 1950s. She often appeared in tabloids, especially around the time of her highly publicized divorce. Her biggest role was the minor hit movie Guys Like Us. She left Hollywood after the flop of Christmas Mission. There's a widely circulated picture of Gwen from behind the scenes on one of her movies, which you've added to evidence. Did you know trivia? Gwen was granddaughter of Elias Roottree, the founder of Roottree Candy. She shouldn't have been named Roottree, but her father took her mother's famous name, which was quite rare in those days. Huh. Granddaughter would be in this line that got divorced. That could be Gwen. That is possibly Gwen Roottree, because she's also considered one of the notables because she's got the star there. So I have reason to believe that this is likely Gwen Roottree, who was an actor. But again, nothing locked in, even though I filled out all of her info. So how do you lock something in? Don't know. Alright. For now, let's go back to looking up information. Let's look up Red Roottree. You find information on a website about strange historical facts. Aloysius Herring Roottree, aka Red, was an appointed judge and politician who earned his nickname, ironically, because he was the ambassador to Ireland for only about 6 days. He served what some people contend is the shortest term in history. A few days after he was appointed, he was heard disparaging his position and the Irish people. He then tried to run for state senate. He claimed to be related to the Roottree Candy Company in a newspaper ad, but it came out that the last name was merely a coincidence and he was defeated in a landslide. Wait, what? Where would he fit into the family tree? If his name was merely a coincidence. Could he have been Gwen's spouse? No, because he's considered notable. That's really weird. What happened here? Alright. So let's move on. Yeah, see how it's marked off as not being? Okay. James Roottree is a singer who sings in the duo Jim and Diamond with his wife Diamond Zaluro. The duo, according to many sources you find, is considered a one-hit wonder due to the disco song Rolling On Down to the City. It's now in your evidence folder. Although Jim writes the majority of songs, plays the guitar, and often sings, Diamond is considered by fans to be the band's lead singer. The band never had another hit, but has its fans, who refer to themselves as Diamond's Dazzlers. The rest of their music is merely more folksy and acoustic than the one song they were known for. Jim and Diamond have continued to release music through the 80s and early 90s. Other albums you find mentioned are Cherry Tree and Sound of Laughter. Jim has become a bit of a recluse, and he hasn't made a public appearance since 1996. Interesting. Only the great-grandson of Elias Roottree. So he's a grandson, which means he'd be in the second tier. Which means he could be this one. I'm going to guess he's probably this one. Unfortunately, it's possible that he's this one or this one. And what's up with this? This is very odd. Alright. Next bit of information. Lauren Roottree. Author Lauren Roottree, a distant relative of the Roottree sisters, is known for her book A Life Between Wars. According to a website about famous authors in the early 1960s, Lauren released a few romance novels under her married name, Lauren Rafferty. Rafferty. To little fanfare, when her publisher learned she had been keeping diaries about her famous family, they insisted she release them under her original name, Lauren Roottree, to take advantage of her family's notoriety. The selection of diary entries released in 1965 as A Life Between Wars spans from the untimely death of her husband in World War II to coping with the post-war world as a young widow and mother, as well as her perspectives on changing times and societal socialites all the way through the entry into Vietnam. While the content is not considered particularly relevant to modern audiences, it has found new life as an exercise in high school English classes to show an evolution in writing style and for a look into life in previous generations. Interesting. So, untimely death of a husband, coping with the post-war world as a young widow and mother. Split up. Split up, split up. Family trees use surnames from birth, even if the person changed their last name after marriage. Always use a person's most recent occupation. This problem is the most recent occupation. Maybe this is where it happens? If she got remarried or somebody took over guardian adoption otherwise? This is possible, but that's not notable person. So she'd be one of the notable ones. Which none of the notable ones show like the death of a spouse. No idea. Which one could be Lauren? Miracle Jr. doesn't go by his full name in promotional materials. Instead, he has shortened it to Miracle Jr. Miracle Jr. is a televangelist who is part of the Miracle Network. He used to have a show that aired on local access across many stations in the northeastern U.S. According to a website called Clergy Watch, he was exposed and subsequently charged with conspiracy to defraud the public in 1979 when he claimed to heal someone in a wheelchair. A news expose revealed it was his wife Edith's sister in a disguise. The author also mentions that Edith had a bit of a checkered past herself, but doesn't clarify. He has since lost his television show and instead goes on tour across the southern U.S., where he was not well known before the scandal. Interesting. Going to a website called Clergy Watch. So even when I go to Clergy Watch, it doesn't bring anything up. odd. Okay, admittedly, this might be the first point where I am stumped. I still don't understand how you lock someone. Oh my god, you can actually adjust the volume in game with the dial? That is hilarious. I love it. Password is password, exclamation point. The only one I'm fairly sure of is Gwen Roottree, because it mentions her split up, and she's one of the grandchildren. But I don't know that for sure. What's bugging me is I don't know how you lock people in. So if anybody would like to explain to me, how do you lock information in? Because I'd love to know, like, if my information on Elias is correct or not. I'd have to assume he was president, but I don't know if he was 5th president or technically an earlier one, and having 5 of them makes as much sense. I'm not quite sure where to go next with this information. I'd like to avoid using a hint, so I'm going to leave this one here, guys, and ask you guys to chip in. Remember, try not to spoil. But let me know what you think. I'm definitely going to read this next time to see if it's got any more information that we could make use of as far as identifying people. But if you'd like to give me a clue as to what to specifically look into next outside of this being the only clue I have left, and I don't know if the lyrics will tell me anything, but yeah, so feel free to give me a clue, guys. If I don't see anything in the comments that is something that I could look into, I will use the in-game hints to get what I should be looking into next. But yeah, we've gone through all of the notables, and I'm not quite sure what more information we currently have that could tell us who, specifically who these people are on the tree. I've got my suspicions on several of them, but there's things like it mentions, like one of them being Roottree being like widowed, but nothing on the tree suggests that one of their spouses died. There's ones where it mentions split up, but that's it. Nothing about like death of a spouse. Yeah, so we're gonna leave that there for now. I hope y'all have a fantastic day. I'm looking forward to figuring out this mystery because I'm actually really engaged with it and enjoying this quite a lot. But yeah, so hope you guys enjoy, and we will continue this tomorrow. Have a fantastic rest of your day.